Pickett Chapel is believed to be the oldest, still standing, historically black Methodist church building in Tennessee. The church was constructed in 1827 for a white congregation by enslaved Africans.
So these are the fingerprints of an enslaved person who formed this brick, stacked this brick, left their fingerprints. And they very likely, the people who built this building, worshiped inside this building in the balcony as the slaveholders sat on the main floor and were members of the church.
In 1856, the white congregation moved to a new building, and by 1866, the now freed slaves purchased the church.
15 freed slaves, they could raise $1,500 to purchase this building. That is just mind-boggling.
The daughter of sharecroppers, Mary Harris, was born into Pickett Chapel and met her husband Harry in the youth group.
We'd have youth, of course, and if he came to youth, and after youth we had the little sweet shop, and we would meet the other churches that surrounded the area. They would have youth the same time we would, and we'd all meet there at the sweet shop.
I enjoyed our instructors. I enjoyed the women of Christian Society then because they had the best food, particularly for Vacation Bible School. Tuna fish, homemade ice cream. I mean, Vacation Bible School was fun. It was fun.
But the women of this church were so amazing. Older women, cooking and trying to teach us things that they had learned from their parents, having the hardships. But we always felt happy, and didn't really know that we were poor and struggling because of the love that surrounded us.
The city of Lebanon was incorporated in 1801. Pickett Chapel members are living witnesses in the history of their community.
I was working on the square maybe about 9 or 10 years old, maybe sweeping. It was Jacob department store. Then you had all the restaurants, the movie, everything was segregated. So you had to go into the back door to get whatever you needed. You couldn't go in the front door.
When we started the civil rights movement, Pickett Chapel was the only place that would let us meet. When I came to the workshop and they told me I had just graduated from college, they told us they can kick you, they'll spit on you, they'll do this to you, and you can't fight back. You got to be nonviolent. And I knew then that I wasn't going to be able to take it.
It was the night they went over to the Capitol Theater. When they started the protest, they put lighter fluid around them and threw eggs on them.
They owned the square, and I guess 400 or 500 people there. They said they knocked my window out, and knocked my door in.
The pastor that was here, he was really frightened because he was threatened. They were told not to come here because the church would probably be bombed.
And the police was sitting there laughing, and I would be sitting over there just crying,
By the early 1970s, having outgrown Pickett Chapel, the congregation built a new, larger church about a mile away, known as Pickett Rucker United Methodist Church. The historic structure housed a community theater for decades and eventually fell into disrepair and was slated for demolition. In 2007, 6 members of the Wilson County Black History Committee, including Harry and Mary Harris, mortgaged their homes to buy the building, as church families had done 140 years prior.
Too many people mortgaged this house for, but I didn't have no problem with it, because it was something that we needed to do to save whatever we had.
The people who ultimately bought Pickett Chapel, bought the building, I believe were buying a building they built and their ancestors built. Those fingerprints, they tell a story. They tell a story of bondage, and they tell a story of freedom.
Restorations are underway, and so is fundraising to preserve Pickett Chapel as a museum.
If we can get it back to where we can be of service to this community, for the future, that's my dream.
We often say that we stand on the shoulders of our ancestors' hard work, and I really feel that in this moment, actually feeling their fingerprints and seeing the fruits of their labor in a very tangible way. This is what makes our history real. This is what connects us to this history. We often talk about what happened, right? But here you can see what happened, and you can actually touch